Game number 2, bet online. Stanford, Utah. Stanford on the road, 5.5, 50.5 the total. Little Utah money here. We've been telling you how good Bryce Love is, but he was right there with McCaffrey. He might have even been better at the running back position. He's averaging 11 yards per carry. He's on pace to break Barry Sanders' records. He's had at least one run of more than 50 yards in all 5 games. Here's Love, quote, "I try to take pride in seeing things before it happens, being able to read blocks and taking it to that second level of seeing blocks that haven't really happened yet. Trying to set things up like that is big with me, and we'll see if they can continue." Whittingham, listen, Utah's terrific in terms of fundamentals, and they don't beat themselves, and they're usually tough against the run and have a solid defense. Easier said than done here, but they are at home in this one. Listen, Christ had 70 yards passing in that loss to San Diego State. Then they came back and scored a lot of points and beat Arizona State and had the UCLA game as well. Where are you at with the Stanford quarterbacks?
All right, there's so much to talk about in this game. And let's start with the line, because this line stood out to me right from the get-go. I'm like, man, Utah, no respect for Utah. But we saw the same thing a couple of weeks ago when Utah played Arizona on Friday night. That line's only 3. And we're all going, why is it only 3? Why is it only 3? It's clear that the broader markets have Utah power rated at least a notch or 2 lower than most of the folks that I know do, because everyone that I talked to around town this week said this line is a little bit high. I figure Stanford 3, 3.5, and it comes, in the 5.5, 6. As you mentioned, a little bit of Utes money. Then we talked about Bryce Love, and yeah, it's a sports bit pat on the back. We talked about Bryce Love before the first game of the season, said this guy's as good as McCaffrey. You know what he's been? Better than McCaffrey. Look what he's done, 11.1 yards per rush this season, Pauly. And look at that, not just this year. His career, 2,093 rushing yards at 9.1 yards per attempt. There's no way to look this up. There's no database that I can go back and check this, but he might be the first back in NCAA history to be averaging better than 9 yards per carry over 2,000 yards. It's incredible what he's done. But there are certainly issues at the quarterback position. Now, Keller Chris stinks. He's back after missing the game against Arizona State. But, KJ Costello, in my mind, is the better of the 2 QBs. I don't know yet what Shaw is going to do. Here's his quote from David Shaw, the Stanford head coach. "The one thing that I don't do, which multiple people know in this room, is I don't sway with the wind. We've had quarterback situations before. We're going to play our style of football. We're going to play it well. The guys that earn the right to play will play. But as of right now, you should expect to see both quarterbacks in some fashion." So maybe a little QB shuffle for the Cardinal on Saturday night.
I would say Burns stinks. And remember, they had that 7-game winning streak with Christ, although, as I mentioned, he was horrible against San Diego State when he only had 70 yards passing. So we'll see what Shaw's up to. Playmaker, their own at quarterback. At least they have a playmaker with Huntley. I was surprised he beat out Williams for the job. He's completing 73% of his passes, 8 yards per pass, 208 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. I don't know about this team, though. They haven't beat anybody. They haven't played anybody. They beat Arizona on the road. They beat a bad BYU team on the road and only won by 6. Other than that, it's been cupcakes. So it's a big step up in competition for Utah.
And in my mind, it's a fairly simple handicap. If Bryce Love is going to run wild, Utah's not going to cover. If Utah's defense can stop Stanford on the ground, they're alive not just to cover, to win the ball game. But the Utes have some offensive issues. Make no mistake about it. You talked about what a playmaker Tyler Huntley is, but I like it though. They have one weapon on the outside in Darren Carrington. He has 4 touchdowns, 485 this year. But we think of Utah as a team that likes to ground and pound on the ground in the trenches. They don't have that this year. The sophomore Zach Moss, the running back, he's been okay, 4.6 yards per carry. But this isn't a team that's been able to control games with the ability to run the football. And that's a problem against a team like Stanford, because you need to have some semblance of control over the line of scrimmage or the Cardinal will eat you alive. One thing that works in the Utes' favor, and something we don't talk enough about here on SportsBit, and I know the mainstream media doesn't ever talk about at all, special teams. And the Utes have elite special teams. The place kicker, Matt Gay, he's 14 of 14 in field goals. He leads the nation in scoring, although the fact that he leads the nation in scoring says there's too many field goals, and the lack of the power rushing game is hurting them in the red zone. And the punter, Mitch Wisnowski, the reigning Ray Guy Award winner, he's averaging 46.8 yards per punt so far. And Utah for the season Net punt returns allowed, -1 yards. The Utes will have a special teams edge against just about every squad that they play.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.